that you have clicked inside of this virtual machine, Virtualbox will capture your keyboard and mouse, therefore rendering your actual operating system, your real operating system on your physical system, vulnerable and not being able to use the mouse. I'll explain. So the virtual machine has started up, and I'm going to click inside the virtual machine, and I'm going to say capture. I'm moving the mouse, I'm typing on the keyboard, but nothing's happening. This is because in this Windows XP virtual machine, it's acting as if I am using it. It's acting as if the Windows XP virtual machine is installed and it controls the mouse and keyboard. If I release the right control key, the mouse comes back and I can use my mouse on my Windows and use my keyboard. This is very important because you might inadvertently get your keyboard and mouse stuck in here if you don't know how to release them. So just note that. Now I'm using a Mac and we do not have a right control button, so I went into my settings, and what I did was I changed the default key from the right control button to the right command button, or to the Windows Virtualbox, the right Windows key. Now we have something in here. I'm going to stop this message from popping up. We have a message in here: fatal, no bootable medium found, system halted. This message is basically saying that there is no operating system installed. Once you have your CD, go ahead and insert it, and you can start up your virtual machine from that. I want to also note that upon creating your virtual machine in Virtualbox, you might need to do a little tweaking with the CD drive. If you're going to install your operating system from a disk, you need to make sure that you have the CD/DVD-ROM drive mounted. This allows the virtual machine to use your physical CD drive from your computer for the virtual machine. If you're going to install the operating system from an ISO file, make sure that you have the ISO image file selected. Let's switch over to Mac and let's create another virtual machine. This time I want to create a Solaris system, and we can go ahead and here's another nice feature. Virtualbox also supports 64-bit operating systems. To see if you actually have support for 64-bit operating systems, you will know because Virtualbox will have the 64-bit extension here. If your system cannot run a 64-bit operating system, then you won't have the 64-bit selection here. My system can run 64-bit, so I'm going to have that option. And let's say I want to do a open Solaris operating system. We're going to call it Solaris, and we're going to we can change the amount of memory. I'm going to give it 1 gig, which is 1000 megabytes. And these are hard disks, so let's go ahead and create that. We're going to create a dynamic expanding one, and I want to know where this Solaris disk is going to be located. It's going to be located in Virtualbox, which should be, let's go ahead and find out where that's going to be located. I'm just trying to make sure I know where the file is going to be. I believe it's going to be in library. Yeah, library. Well, I can look at that later. But let's go back here. And we're going to name the disk Solaris. Now, the actual file that contains the operating system is the hard disk, or the v.i file format, which is the file format for Virtualbox. See this VDI file extension? Yes, it is in the library directory. So we're going to click next. It has 16 gigs. We can change that and add more. We have support for 2 terabytes. Here's a nice summary. Once it's finished, we have it right here. And we start it up, and we see it also gives us that little message about the keyboard and the mouse being captured. Now, for the default in Mac is the left command button to release the mouse and keyboard. Get rid of that message. And the same thing here, we get that same message because we haven't installed the operating system. And in the next chapter, we'll be dealing with installing operating systems in these virtual machines. Let's go ahead and change the preference in Virtualbox. I want to make the release key the same as the Virtualbox in Windows so that I don't get confused. I'm going to change that to the right command button. And you can change all of this stuff here. And we can go ahead and change all kinds of options such as general settings, the name, the display. We can give support for 3D graphics. Let's go ahead and power off this virtual machine so I can get access to the options. And once it's shut down, we can look at some of the settings. These are all settings that can be changed, customized to your virtual machine so that it acts the way it needs to act and act as native as possible. We can enable 3D acceleration, which is very useful if you're using Linux and you want those nice visual effects. Audio, networking, sharing ports, storage. You can change the hard disk size and so forth. Like I said, you can go ahead and mount the CD and ISO images. For most of the videos that we do on virtualization, we will be installing the operating system via the ISO files, and I potentially might do a nice little video on showing you how you can burn ISO files to a CD or DVD and make a live bootable Linux operating system, or for that matter any bootable operating system that can be installed on your computer. So that's it for this video. We wanted to take a nice little look at Virtualbox, and we'll be discussing more and demonstrating virtualization within Virtualbox in the next chapter. In the next episode, we will be taking a look at, I believe, let's go ahead and find out what we're going to be looking at. Well, let's just go ahead to the spaces. In the next episode, we'll be looking at Parallels Desktop 4.0 for Mac, and we'll be looking at that and showing you that. And that's it for this video, Virtualbox.